Good evening and a very warm welcome to your weekly program of Tonga this week with Television Tonga. Looking at the main stories during the week, Their Majesty's King VI and Queen Vava'u officiates in all the Royal Agricultural Show in Vava'u, Hapai and Ewa. Royal wedding of Honourable Fatafehio Lapatuita and Sione Filipe was held last weekend. Tonga's first ambassador to the United Nations, Lord Tamuipiatabo of Daulan Kotu, passed away earlier this week. And a Deputy Prime Minister states that Real Tonga leased aircraft from Chatham Pacific are not in a satisfactory state to continue operations. There will be other local news stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatafenga with the details. A sustainable food supply for the people of Vava'u is one of the priority issues that the islanders must look into as part of the drive to ensure sufficient food supplies in the island. This was the highlight of His Majesty King VI's royal address to officially open the Vava'u Agricultural and Handicraft Show 2013 last Saturday. His Majesty's address highlighted the importance of ensuring that the people of the island coincides with the given theme of this year's World Food Day, Sustainable Food System for Security and Nutrition. His Majesty stresses that the importance of this annual show brings to light the good working ties of the locals and the government, together with its portfolio, especially the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food. In his remarks, he praises the residents of the island for the success on their hard labour, which are shown on a goods exhibit during the one-day show. He also stated that this is an outcome of the locals' full support towards healthy diet in the island. His Majesty also recalled one of the statements made by His late Majesty King Taufa'ahau IV during the 2004 show in Vava'u, saying that if the people of Vava'u obtains wealth, the whole of Tonga will also be fortunate of such fortune. He also highlights the special attention needed for tourism to ensure that it flourish as part of their drive to revive economic developments in the island of Vava'u. His Majesty also thanked the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Sengsta Saulala, and his portfolio for the hard work they've done, together with the farmers, fishermen and grafters on the island for making the show possible. Present at the ceremony was Her Majesty Queen Vava'u. Government officials that present in the same program were the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister Sami Waipulu, the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Sengsta Saulala, Ministers of the Ground, Governor of Vava'u Lord Fulivai and many guests. This year's show was held at the Niponi Playground at Vava'u High School. Meanwhile, Their Majesties also visited the island of Hapai on Wednesday this week to witness the fruits of labour of the people on the island in the Royal Agricultural and Handicraft Show 2013. Caroline Tonglava has this report.
In the royal address from the throne, His Majesty King VI stated that he witnessed from his visit to Vava'u on the weekend the abundance of food supply, and also another priority issue was food security. His Majesty also stressed that he is pleased to visit Lifuka today to witness the island's food supply. His Majesty, during his opening address, also stated that the importance of today's celebrations is to show government support for developing people's livelihoods. His Majesty also urged the people of Hapai who are taking part in the show to make an attempt to engage in dialogue with government officials who are visiting the island for the Royal Agricultural Show. King VI also revealed that the abundance and wealth of Hapai waters are always available for the people and that residents should consume them wisely. His Majesty also spoke of people's creativity on their handicrafts productions, which is another form of income for the islanders. Before wrapping up his royal address, His Majesty congratulated the growers, fishermen and handicraftsmen and women on their crucial role as development officers on the island. Meanwhile, the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Food, Forestry and Fisheries, Sengsta Saulala, delivered the response to His Majesty's address. The agricultural minister says His Majesty's message is important for the people of Hawaii because they are vulnerable to natural disasters as a result of climate change. He believes that if related stakeholders come together to tackle the impacts of climate change, then the people on the island will live in prosperity. During his speech, the Minister of Agriculture added that from the past, Hawaii was well known for its ocean's wealth. Therefore, people should develop the fisheries sector as it contributes mainly to people's livelihoods. The Agricultural Minister also thanked His Majesty for his presence in Hawaii as it has helped strengthen the people of Hawaii to continue their hard work in developing the island. Meanwhile, the Governor of Hawaii, Lord Tuihangana, welcomed their Majesties and government officials to Lea Aitohi grounds. In his welcoming remark, Lord Tuihangana told the gathering that all these sectors relating to today's show, including the agriculture, fisheries and handicrafts, are satisfactory. Lord Tuihangana says there are some men in Hawaii who have diverted their attention towards handicraft sector, as many islanders believe this is a good form of revenue for the people. After the formalities, Their Majesty inspect the booths where the island's fruit of labor were displayed. Following Their Majesties was the Prime Minister, Lord Tuivano, Deputy Prime Minister, Sami Vaipulu, and some of the cabinet ministers. After the inspection, His Majesty then present winners from various competitions in the show before a range of traditional entertainment were performed for Their Majesties and the visiting delegation.
The Nafualu campus was filled with the spirit of celebrations as the South Otae Theological College kickstart its double anniversary celebrations. Her Royal Highness Princess Melisiri Tapukanival Fotofili was the guest of honor.
Highness Princess Melisiri Tapukanival Fotofili hopes for, at the beginning of events, to mark South Otae Theological College's double anniversary celebrations. She emphasized this during the graduation ceremony, which took place as part of the programs to mark the school's 65th anniversary and the Silver Jubilee of teaching the Bachelor of Divinity at the college. Praise the Lord for granting us the power and encouragement. Do not give up in this run, especially in the presence of the enemy, overseas, locally, and the ones we grew up with. You be in charge. To you who have received Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, do not just know this, but live it. My hope is that all Tongans to have their hearts filled with love and not limited only to the Free Wesleyan Church members. The President of the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, Reverend Dr. Ahio, acknowledged the words from the Princess. These programs have been going on since the first graduation ceremony, where His late Majesty Taufahau Tupo IV officiated. He also commemorated the Old Zion. Since then, a member from the King's House will be guest of honor at the graduation ceremonies. The former Free Wesleyan Church President and former Principal of the College, Reverend Dr. Lopeti Taufa, conducted the service with the theme, The Double Celebration and Its Challenges. The double praising celebration has its challenges, and those are extreme challenges. Notice that the reason why today's challenges are extreme is because the population has increased for up to 2-point-something billions around the world, and it can't be stopped. There are a lot of Indians and Asians here in Tonga, and I often hear some people saying to chase away the Asians and the Indians, but that is not the challenge. That is not today's challenge, but the challenge is to increase the sizes of your homes and accept them in. Her Royal Highness later presented certificates for 5 people who graduated with their Bachelor of Divinity, Diploma of Theology for 5 others, and also presented 4 people with their certificates in theology and pastoral ministry with honors. In the Principal's yearly report, Reverend Dr. Siotame Havea highlighted that the school is operating well and mentioning that others have continued to pursue higher degrees in theology. The school has become 65 years now, all due to God's love that came through the church's conference. The Bachelor of Divinity program also came through the conference. To date, 249 people have graduated with their Bachelor of Divinity. Afterwards, the planting of the Heilala Kosilik Tapu was carried out to commemorate the double anniversary celebrations. Taking part in the celebrations are local ex-students and some from overseas, together with the staff and students of the college. The celebrations to mark the school's 65th anniversary and teaching the Bachelors of Divinity at Suato Thai College for 25 years now will finish this Friday.
The Honourable Prime Minister Lord Divano will join Polynesian Leaders Group BLG, Heads of Governments, in its third annual meeting held in Auckland, New Zealand on August 30th. The Ministry of Information and Communication revealed this to Radio and Television Tonga. The Polynesian Leaders Group, or BLG, is an international governmental cooperation group bringing together independent or self-governing territories in Polynesia. The group collectively seeks ways to safeguard the future of Polynesian people, cultures and traditions. The BLG meetings have provided a platform for dialogue and cooperation on regional issues of sustainable economic prosperity, observation of democratic values, and independence in developing fields like education, transport, trade and investment, environmental conservation and climate change mitigation for the Polynesian states. The third meeting will continue to discuss ways in which the member states can strengthen the BLG and develop relations both bilaterally and sub-regionally. The meeting precedes the Pacific Islands Leaders Forum meeting in Majuro from September 3rd until the 6th of this year. Since its inception in 2011, hosted by the Samoan Prime Minister Tuilaepa Sailele Malielegaoi, the second BLG meeting was hosted by the Cook Islands in Rarotonga in August 2012. BLG comprises of the 8 founding members: Tonga, Samoa, Tuvalu, Cook Islands, Niue, American Samoa, French Polynesia, and Tokelau. Lord Tamuepeau Tupo of Tola and Kotu, also known as Sonatane Tuakinamalahi Tamuepeau Tupo, has passed away at the age of 70. He passed away at the Viola Hospital early Monday morning, August 12th. This was confirmed to Television Tonga News by a family member. We'll join Anasi Falekano with that report.
According to the Ministry of Information and Communications, Lord Tamuepeau Tupo of Tola and Kotu served in government for many years. He joined the civil service in 1969 as the Assistant Secretary at the Prime Minister's office. He was appointed Secretary for Foreign Affairs in 1979. He served as a High Commissioner to the Court of St. James in the United Kingdom in 1983 with concurrent accreditation as Ambassador to Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, the Soviet Union, the United States of America, and the European Commission. He returned again to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1986 and served as a secretary there until posting to set up at the United Nations mission in New York in 1999. While he was a member of the UN, he was also an ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary to the United States of America, Chile, Cuba, Mexico, and Venezuela, and the High Commissioner to Canada. From 1999 to 2004, he held his post of permanent representative to the UN and ambassador to the US. He was then recalled to take up an appointment of Minister for Foreign Affairs. In 2005, he was also appointed the acting Minister for Tonga Defence Services and the acting Governor of Vava'u. Lord Tamuepeau Tupo's death comes after his retirement last month. Lord Tamuepeau Tupo was married to the Queen Mother's younger sister, late Lady Amelia Latuniwa Tamuepeau Tupo. They are survived by their 4 children, Lady Kalanivalu Fotofili, Miss Odette Tupo Ahame'e, Captain Christian David Fahaivalu Tupo, and Latasi Toto Pau Tupo.
The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Infrastructure, Sami Waipulo, announced that Real Tonga's leased aircraft from the former domestic airline, JetM Pacific, is not in a satisfactory state to operate.
The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Civil Aviation, Sami Waipulo, made the statement during an exclusive with Radio and Television Tonga. Real Tonga is hiring the Chatham's aircraft, and last week, I think it is proper that I announce to the public that there was a problem encountered to both Chatham's aircraft. The problem was detected to one of the wings of the smaller aircraft, and for the bigger plane, conveyor, a crack was reported to its body. Therefore, we had to complete the paperwork for the MA-60 aircraft in order to begin its domestic operations after the cracks were reported on two of the leased aircrafts. In addition, the director of the Civil Aviation Department, Willie Cocker, added that although these problems are detected, still there is a requirement that all the aircrafts must pass before they are allowed to begin flight operations. In regards to civil aviation, if we are to reaffirm the 100% safety of the aircraft, it is very difficult before an aircraft can be allowed to operate. This international condition requires the aircraft to reach the acceptable level of safety. It is still vital to bring the MA-60 for commercial and domestic operations because it is a brand new constructed plane. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister also spoke of the issue regarding the MA-60 aircraft. He says New Zealand Foreign Minister Mari Makali is advising the New Zealand tourists regarding the safety standards of the MA-60 aircraft in Tonga, where the issue seems strange to him. I respect Makali and his decision, and I'm also questioning his decision to warn New Zealand tourists visiting Tonga regarding the safety of the MA-60 aircraft. After all, other countries such as Malaysia, Philippines and Indonesia are using the same types of aircraft, yet he is not concerned with it, but only the issue regarding Tonga's MA-60. This also has led to New Zealand withholding its tourism funds for Tonga, which worth millions of pa'anga. The Deputy Prime Minister believes that this is not a way to work together in order to develop the country's tourism sector. The MA-60 aircraft began its commercial operations last weekend to the island of Vava'u.
The people of the two Niuas have voiced their disagreement with the suggestions from public to link the Niua Toptapu and Niua Fo'o constituency under another constituency in either Vava'u or Ewa.
In a recommendation from the Boundary Commission, suggested that the population of the two Niuas is relatively small. Therefore, its constituency should be transferred to another larger constituency. This is after the Boundary Commission received suggestions from the public and was closed for discussion last month. Meanwhile, according to a member of the Boundary Commission at Ata Finau, 50% of the recommendations received by the Boundary Commission from the public disagreed with the proposal to link Niua Toptapu and Niua Fo'o to a constituency in Vava'u or Ewa. He said that in 2010 there were more than 1,000 people in the two Niuas, which is relatively low compared to 7,000 population in other constituency in Tongatapu. On average, this is a huge gap within the numbers of people on separate constituency. It is understood that these are statistical figures of the overall population, and the registered voters in the two Niuas accounts to only 864 voters in comparison with more than 3,000 registered voters in other constituencies. Meanwhile, during the Radio Tonga's Talkback show, many of the callers were the indigenous people of the two Niuas who voiced their disagreement using the traditional Niuan language. Has the government run out of money? Is that the reason why they want to combine us with another constituency? We still play our role for the country, and we have good and educated people from the Niuas whom are working for the government and also abroad. Leave us in Niua. We still perform our duty and obligations, and I agree with Pakiwa when they raise the issue of discussion to combine the two Niuas. It brings old memories about Niua. In a democratic country, the 3,000 voters and 800 voters from Niua should be equal. If we combine the two Niuas with Ewa, for example, they will have to share the 10% benefit given by representatives from Parliament. Amongst the callers, parts of the public were in favor of this suggestion. Most of the 800 registered voters residing in Tonga Tapu, and they vote from Nuku'alofa in times of election. But the government aid goes directly to Niua. Most of the voters do not meet up with their representative to Parliament after. Those voters will later change to vote for Tonga Tapu, and later the population of the two Niuas will decrease. I believe it is better to combine the constituency despite the geographical and traditional reason that has been given. If not, we open the door to other constituency to apply for the same benefit. Meanwhile, the Boundary Commission will host a public consultation regarding the matter before a decision is made.
The royal wedding ceremony of Honourable Fatafehi Lapatuita and Sione Filipe Jr. was held at the weekend, during this week rather, at the Holy Trinity Cathedral Panel in Auckland, New Zealand. Attending the wedding celebration were members of the royal family, including Her Majesty the Queen Mother, Halawan Mata'aho, the Crown Prince, Tupoto'a Ulkalala, Her Royal Highness Princess Pilolev Tuita, Lord Tuita, and many guests. After the official wedding ceremony, the celebrations continued to the wedding reception. One of the most favourable entertainment of the night was a performance from Honourable Etani Tuku'aho. The bride, Honourable Fatafehi Lapaha, is the third daughter of Princess Pilolev Tuita and Lord Tuita. The groom, Sione Filipe Jr., is the son of Olive and Sione Filipe. A Tongan woman was sent back to Tonga after she was detained by U.S. immigration officers at the Los Angeles airport in the United States last week. The case involves the woman's visa being revoked without her knowledge.
Radio and Television Tonga News made contact to the airline where these passengers travelled. Fiji Airways office in Nuku'alofa and Lovely Maka from the airline stated that usually the U.S. Embassy alert them about the list of names of people that faces visa's cancellation. According to Mrs. Maka, lately the airline has not received any names from the U.S. Embassy. She says that in regards to the case of the Tongan woman being diverted back to Tonga, the airline did not receive any pre-notifications regarding her visa was being revoked. She added they were later alerted on the issue upon receiving an email from one of their staff on their branch in LA. Mrs. Maka added they have also queried the U.S. Embassy regarding their visa revoke procedure. Meanwhile, the Fiji Airways airline will investigate the matter thoroughly because the embassy will sue the airline for the expenses. Moreover, Sonu Uvuni from the Air Terminal Services, or ATS, from the Formotu International Airport has confirmed with Radio and Television Tonga News that the airlines usually alert the staff of the ATS regarding the list of names of those that their visas have been revoked. Therefore, the staff of the ATS are able to stop the travelers beforehand they leave the country. According to Mr. Vuni, in regards to the case revolving the Tongan woman's return, the staff of the ATS did not receive any notification about the woman from the Fiji Airways airline. Meanwhile, according to a statement from a spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy, it stated that according to the Privacy Act, the U.S. Embassy in Suva are not able to discuss any applicant's visa publicly. The embassy also stated when a visa is revoked as standard operating procedure, the embassy will notify the applicant in writing or via telephone that the non-immigrant visa is no longer valid and should not attempt to travel to the United States. Meanwhile, Radio and Television Tonga News is trying to confirm if these people received the notification from the U.S. Embassy on time about the cancellations of their visas. Radio Tonga News also tries to confirm the method of communications which was used to alert the visa applicant.
5 accused have been arrested and charged with armed robbery and unlawful imprisonment remains under custody at the Huatoitole prison. This was revealed to Radio Tonga News this week by the Assistant Police Commissioner, Unga Whaawa. He says the accused have been remanded in Huatoitole due to the seriousness of the crimes they committed. They were being alleged of kidnapping 2 Asian men, a father and a son. While the victims have been remanded by the accused, they have been demanded to pay the accused with a substantial amount of money. However, police says about £400,000 has been paid by the relative of the victims for the accused. In the meantime, police are trying to recover 2 cheques which amount to more than 300,000 pa'anga, and investigation continues. Measures are being made to improve the cruise ship sector in Tonga through a 2-day workshop called the Port Preparedness Program. This was held at the Tonga Colonnade. The training is funded by the Regional Tourism Organisation, South Pacific Tourism Organisation, SPTO.
It is vital that the public and private sectors recognize the importance of their roles in developing the cruise ships tourism sector in the kingdom. A consultant from Nautic Consultant, who is facilitating a special program on how to implement measures to address the issue, revealed this to TV Tonga News. Mr. John Nell says that the Port Preparedness Program focuses on creating awareness on what the cruise sector has to offer Tonga. It also includes developing of onshore products and building capacity within related sectors. Mr. Nell highlighted one of the challenges Tonga faces in the cruise sector of tourism, which is its geographical location.
The bulk of the passengers coming to the Pacific are cruising out of Australia. And a normal cruise, passengers are buying a 7-day or a 10-day cruise. And with the port content, so if you want 3 or 4 ports, you can only really get as far east as Vanuatu. To go on a 14-day cruise or a 16-day cruise, you can get to Fiji and maybe touch into Tonga. But 16-day cruises are no longer that popular. So it's ways of how do we attract what's called the repositioning ships. So every year the ships that redeploy from North America to Australia, they pass through these waters. So how do we position Tonga and get the cruise lines to choose Tonga as opposed to other Pacific destinations within this vicinity?
A tourism marketing officer for the South Pacific Tourism Organisation, SPTO, Alisi Lutu, says that the follow-up on the workshop is as important as conducting it.
What's important for this sector is public and private sector coordination and partnership is very important because there's a lot of different stakeholders that are involved with this. So I think for us is trying to maintain that relationship with the existing cruise steering committee to probably help in assisting with maybe a development of a cruise action plan specifically for Tonga. So that's probably the way forward that SPTO sees.
17 cruise liners are scheduled to visit Tonga this year, and this program is a way forward in developing cruise tourism in the country. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sini Latu.
And a 14-year-old girl has died in Vava'u Hospital this week. In the meantime, police are treating the investigation as a homicide case. A 34-year-old female in relation to the case has been arrested.
The young girl was pronounced dead around 11 a.m. this morning at Vava'u Hospital. This was after she was admitted to Vava'u Hospital yesterday with injuries. Police Commissioner Grant O'Fee confirmed this to Radio and Television Tonga during a press conference today.
We're treating it as a homicide investigation. It's really serious. It's a homicide. It doesn't get any more serious than this. This is a very, somebody's dead. You know, we don't have any more serious cases than that.
The Commissioner of Police says they've arrested a 34-year-old female in Nuku'alofa in relation to this. Meanwhile, the Police Commissioner did not disclose the relationship between the woman who had been arrested and the 14-year-old girl. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sini Latu.
And that wraps up another edition of Tonga This Week with Television Tonga. Thank you all for watching. Good evening.